Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch, and welcome to another top 10 list video. If you love a list video as much as I love a list video, I would love it if you would subscribe to the channel by hitting the big button with the word subscribe on it. And today it is very much a sign of the times. I have made top 10 videos about Seiko and Casio before, but never about Citizen before. Citizen have always made some fantastic watches, but I think at least over the last 5 years they have begun to transition into making fantastic watches that people want to buy, that people get really excited about. And today I'm going to show you 10 of my favourites. I reckon 8 of which are indeed from the last 5 years. I will leave links in the description of the video to all 10 watches in the order that I show them. Use those links as your starting point, but of course, find the best possible deals you can. Let's get on with it. And let's start, appropriately enough, with a watch on my wrist today, what I think is their best release of 2025, an absolute beast of a watch, the JV1007. Check this thing out. It is a unit. It feels rock solid. It feels utterly bomb-proof. This watch takes Anadigi to the next level. It is feature-packed, and yet somehow Citizen have actually made these features accessible, far more accessible than a lot of similarly feature-packed Anadigi watches from other Japanese brands. It's got a chronograph, it's got a countdown timer, it's got world time functionality, it's got a whole bunch of stuff, and you don't need a PhD to learn how it all works. It may not have the G-Shock label on the dial, but I reckon this one is just about as tough as anything from that particular Casio lineup. The lume is great, plus there's a red backlight built into that super crisp MIPS display. It is so nice to use both during the day and after dark. Now, I bought mine lightly used for well under $500 US equivalent. They're all over eBay at that price. They often pop up here in Australia on special for just over $400 US equivalent. Highly recommended at that price. I really enjoy wearing mine. One watch that simply had to be on today's list is the Citizen Tsuyosa. I think for many people who weren't fans of the brand, this will have been the gateway watch for them over the last few years. It has been so popular. It was part of the integrated bracelet craze, as exemplified at the affordable level by the Tissot PRX. But the Siosa is much better value than the PRX, the automatic Citizen costing the same as a quartz Tissot. And it's arguably more wearable as well. 40mm case diameter, but a really nicely integrated president style bracelet. It wears so well on a wide variety of wrist sizes. Talking of variety, if you want a Citizen Tsuyosa in blue, green, red, yellow, or all of the above at the same time, no problems at all. There are dozens of colours of this one available. Plus, if 40mm is a bit too big for you, then they also now do the same watch with a 37mm case instead. Regardless of which one you fancy, you shouldn't be paying more than $300 for any of these, in my humble opinion. Joma Shop has got a bunch of them for well less than that. At that price, I think this watch is an affordable contemporary classic and well worth at least one place on today's list. Now, I did say there were a couple of older models on the list today, and I could simply not have looked past the BN015 series ProMaster. A couple of different versions of this one are available. You can get a blue dial, a black dial. You can also get this rather attractive looking green dial version as well. They're all essentially the same watch. These have been knocking around for years, at the same time as the Seiko SKX was, offering a similar ISO certified dive watch experience, but with Citizen's legendary Eco Drive technology instead. So, solar powered, no battery changes, virtually no servicing, effectively no servicing, so no real need to ever have to take the case back off of these, breaching the watch's 200 meters of water resistant capabilities. Indeed, the case back tells you not to bother messing around with it. It is a lovely case on these, much nicer than you would expect for around $200 US. It's very well machined and very well finished. The lume is good, the bezel action is excellent, but I would probably be dumping the stock straps straight out of the box. They're a bit stiff and a bit unforgiving, for me and my delicate wrist at least. There's always plenty of these on Joma Shop. Like I said, use that as a bit of a reference. If you can find a better deal elsewhere, then by all means go for it. I really hope Citizen keep this model around for some time. If you like quartz, it's a bit of a legend. But what if you don't like quartz? Well, don't worry, there are plenty of other ProMasters with automatic calibers in the back of them, including the Fugu. These are readily available here in Australia for $350 equivalent. eBay, plenty on there at the moment, well under $500, even in some of the more interesting limited edition colour versions. They're a full-size watch, they've got sapphire crystal, they look like a ProMaster. I'm sure that you've now seen two of these back to back, you're beginning to get a feel for what that entails. Again, the case is nicely made, the bracelet is perfectly serviceable with a diver's extension, the lume is excellent, and the Fugu also has that all-important '(S) on the dial. This is another ISO Divers certified watch. These are available in a few different colours, including one with a full lume dial, but arguably the best bit of the Fugu, and there's a clue in the name, is the picture of the pufferfish on the case back. Cute, but deadly. Let's take this up a notch though. Let's increase the level of sophistication and have a look at two watches from the same recent range, their Zenshin range. One mechanical three-hander, the NJ0180, and one eco-drive chronograph, the CA4610. These two watches represented a bit of a step change for the brand, a real push into a premium look and premium feel, but without a premium price tag. Both are titanium, a material that Citizen has used to great effect for many years. They both utilise Citizen's proprietary Duratec coating on these watches, meaning the titanium is far more scratch resistant than even untreated stainless steel would be. Plus, of course, they're light, they're slim, and the dials on these watches, whilst not quite up there with the likes of Grand Seiko, they certainly represent a nod in that direction. The three-hander with small second complication was the watch that really fired up the public's imagination. It was all over the socials at the time of its release in the middle of last year. You can grab one of these for well under $400 on eBay in several different colours. Now these are all automatics, but again it's that slightly basic Miyota 8000 series caliber in its rear. I actually prefer the chronograph myself though. This one is also known as the Forza. It comes in a bunch of different colours. I bought one in that lovely shade of blue last year. Interestingly enough, they're about the same price as the automatic three-hander, coming in at around the $400 mark, perhaps just a little bit over that. They're very wearable and again eco-drive, so no need for regular servicing or battery changes, just expose it to light occasionally. And great watches to wear as part of a rotation therefore, because you don't need to set it every time you want to wear it. These two, a real statement of intent from Citizen, and I look forward to more watches from that Zenshin range in the years to come. Alright then, it's another old school offering. This one can trace its origins back 25 years. It's from their Titanium Tough range, which kind of says everything you need to know about it, doesn't it? These are designed to take an absolute pounding in the way that a Casio G-Shock can, but in a more traditional three-hand analog format. Sapphire crystal, of course, 200 meters of water resistance with a screw-down crown, incredible legibility from those big hands and oversized numerals, great lume for after dark use, and plenty of adjustment within the titanium bracelet and titanium clasp. Plus, this thing has a monoblock case. That is ridiculous, and it shows just how much confidence Citizen have in the durability of their eco-drive movements. There are a number of colours. The green one is popular as it goes with the whole kind of outdoorsy Ray Mears pitch of the watch. You can pick up one of those again on Joma Shop for under $350, but I'm kind of boring. I like the black one. I've been looking to add one of these to my personal collection for some time. I'm just on the lookout for a deal taking them closer to 600 Aussie than to 700 Aussie. The fact that they've been selling this one virtually unchanged for a quarter century now suggests that they really did get it right first time. So I'm going to cheat slightly at number 8, no great surprise there, and I'm going to give you a second version of the Tsuyosa, the Smallseconds. I think it's worthy of a mention on its own because it took everything that was good about the Tsuyosa but offered it in a more sophisticated and refined package with a small second complication version of a more premium Miyota 8000 series movement. And it took the dials up several notches using beautiful guilloche style intricate patterning. I mentioned earlier on the Tsuyosa is a 40mm watch and wears really nicely. Again, several different colour options are available for this one, and the prices are really good. There are heaps of them on eBay, either on leather or on bracelet, floating around the $300 to $350 mark. That is not an awful lot of money for a watch that looks like it is far, far more expensive than that modest price tag suggests. Alright, this is another brand new release from the brand. I think this one launched 2 months ago. It's a chronograph that is diametrically opposed to the clean minimalist Forza that I showed you earlier on. This is from their ProMaster Navi Hawk Sky line. And I gotta be honest with you, I find this style of Citizen a little bit too hectic. It's too intense for me. There's just a bit too much going on in the dial and the hands and the bezel, and there's too many markers and too many numerals and too much writing, most of which the average user will not really pay much attention to. But as I said, Citizen have a long tradition of making this style of watch, and I know that some people, other people, simply love this look, hence why it's on the list. Hence why it's been a big hit over the last couple of months since it launched as well. It's definitely a watch I'll try and get in for review, but probably not one that I'll be hanging on to long term. Despite the fact that this is a relatively new watch, they are still well within today's self-imposed budget. Again, eBay's probably your best bet, $400 and something. But I probably should have mentioned this earlier on in the video. If you buy a Citizen from an authorised dealer, you're getting a great warranty on these. Here in Australia, we get a 5-year warranty on Citizens. That is as good as you get on anything from an entry to mid-level Swiss brand. Tudor, for example, offer a 5-year warranty on their watches, and you're certainly not paying Tudor prices for these, are you? And last, but by no means least, it is one of the more unusual three-handers that I've reviewed from the brand in recent years. It's their NH8391 series. Again, colourful, but really quirky. How often do you see watches with a day-date complication, but the day and the date are split between the 12 and the 9? I'll wait. Yes, it really is an unusual look. Now that might be too unusual for some, but for most of us who have substantial collections, a piece like this really appeals because we don't own anything else like it. Again, it's an 8000 series movement, which is accurate and reliable, if not necessarily all that sophisticated, and you're only getting mineral crystal on these as opposed to sapphire, but look at the price, from under 200 to around 250 on eBay. Again, nothing that will break the bank. So there you have it. If I had been making this list 5 years ago, it would have looked very, very different. That's probably the reason why I didn't make this list 5 years ago. It does go to show just how prolific and how good Citizen's recent releases have been, transforming the brand's image in the eyes of cynical collectors like myself. And we've seen a real different mix of styles and colours and intended purposes on the list today, so you're bound to find something that suits you and, more importantly, suits your needs from Citizen. I used to refer to the brand as vanilla. Looking at that list, I think I should probably start calling them Tutti Frutti instead. Well done for making it all the way to the back end of the video. If you don't fancy Citizen, why not check out similar lists of Seikos or Casios? Thanks for watching this one. I'll see you over there.